We are live at the News Radio 1040 WHO studios. The game is over. Nebraska 24, Iowa 17. Iowa needs a miracle if it wants to play in the Big Ten championship game. It can still happen, but let's be honest, the odds of that happening are slim and none, and Slim might have just left town because Illinois would have to lose to Northwestern and Purdue would have to lose to Indiana. Ross, the Hawks made a comeback, but at the end of the day, you can't dig yourself a hole because this team's not built to come back from a 24-point deficit.
Yeah, there's no way this offense, even with Spencer Petras, and we're going to talk a lot about Alex Padilla tonight, I'm sure, too. No way with Spencer Petras that this offense comes back and wins that football game. No way. So that's, I mean, you dug yourself way too big of a hole. They talked about it during the broadcast. The Hawkeyes are predicated on one thing. You cannot beat yourself. They're going to wait for you to make that mistake. Travis, you're a big tennis guy. This is a great tennis strategy, one of the great successful tennis strategies. Get the ball over the net. Make the other guy make the mistake, right? Make the plays. Make the other guy make the mistake over and over and over, and you're going to be great. And that's what Kirk Ferentz has built this team on. And when you lose the turnover battle the way they did tonight, when you get penalties stacking up against you the way that they did tonight, a couple of injuries that hurt. We talked about it at halftime. Losing Cooper was a big one. But, dude, they got beat today.
I mean, and Jason says about 4 turnovers can't overcome those. You couldn't do it against Ohio State. You're not going to do it against a team like Nebraska, which, you know, you and I have had this debate. I mean, just look at Nebraska in the one-score games they've had over the last 2 years. They're not a horrible team. They're not good, but they were in a lot of games. But if you turn the ball over and put yourself in, even a not-so-good team is going to beat you, is going to pull out. And then you throw in the emotion aspect of it. This is it. This was it for Mickey Joseph, and this is it for this football team. They're done. Nebraska's not going to a bowl game. They're done.
Yeah, and that's and this is how they this is how it ended for them. We thought this would be the case, that they would come in with a lot to play for too, more than a 4-win team. They were going to come in with something to play for, and we thought, hey, the Hawks have just as much. You've got that chip on the shoulder thing that we've all had dealt with, right? Tim, I promise I only took off my Hawk shirt because it's hot in this studio that I walked into. I promise that's it. Travis knows I was wearing my parka about 15 minutes ago in his room. So, so frustrating tonight, man. So frustrating. So many aspects of it, Travis.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have the Big Ten championship game on the line.
Yeah. You
control your own destiny. And I looked at you at one point and I go, you know, you're going to have people tonight who blame the officials. You're going to have people tonight that blame Cooper DeJean getting hurt. At the end of the day, do you think this team, did it have a feeling that they came out with a sense of urgency? Because it just never felt – now, I wasn't in the stadium, and maybe my son who was there will call the show after we're done and we can ask him, but it just didn't – things for granted. And, boy, it'll bite you in the butt.
Yeah, you know, I never know about that urgency thing. You know, I think if
That's
I don't
fair.
know. I mean, I don't know what to make of that. Here's what I know. They lost in almost every aspect of the game. Well, I shouldn't say that because the defense, again, played good. Defense didn't play great. And we can't go on talking about how the defense was just amazing and spectacular. The defense was good tonight. Defense got a turnover when it needed it. The defense made plays late in the game when it needed it. In the second half, really. Throughout the second half, the defense made the plays, and they needed to make the plays.
You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, please be the nail in the coffin for at least one of the Ferentzes. Now there can be some coaching changes. And that's what's going to be the big push. But you got to remember, hey, listen, it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. This offense is not going to change drastically under Kirk Ferentz. This offense is what it is. It's not built to rally from 24 points down. They came close, but be honest with yourself. When they got the ball left with, a minute 12 left, did you really think that they were going to go the length of the football field and score? Because I didn't.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we talked at halftime. I told you I had no faith in that offense being able to move the football down the field. And that was not a knock on Alex Padilla, who didn't play great, played good. Alex made a couple of plays tonight that I don't think we would have seen Spencer Petras make, but Spencer might have made some throws that Alex didn't. So, again, quarterback wasn't the issue. Offensive line, awful.
Gary Barta should be arrested by midnight for perpetuating the fraud that enabled incompetent nepotism. Wow, that's pretty stiff. Here's the interesting part: is that the last time Nebraska beat Iowa was in 2014 in Iowa City. Bo Pelini was fired the next day. Nebraska beats Iowa today in Iowa City, and Mickey Joseph will be relieved of his head coaching interim tag tomorrow, if not on Sunday. It's bizarre, isn't it? It's really, really, really bizarre. So what happens now? You're looking at a Florida bowl game. This is a long wait for the Hawks. This one's going to sting. The bowl game actually worries me now. This one is going. I mean, because what happens? Semester ends. Do guys enter the transfer portal? What happens there? I mean, there's going to be a lot of things happen over the next month for this Iowa football team. That's going to be interesting to follow along.
I mean, Trav, if you want to talk about when you talk about the bowl game, I'm not even worried about the transfer portal. Let's talk for a few minutes about. Well, here's what I thought you were going to say. I'm worried about this bowl game. I'm worried about what bowl game are we going to now? Because the fall from grace that we just took to go from the Big Ten title game and what that might have led to now playing in the What's It Bowl against Who's It University. What's fan interest going to be in that? Now you're going to get you're going to have the diehards who have the Tiger Hawk tattooed on their chest. They're going to say, listen, it's a Florida bowl game in December. Sign me up. I don't think you're going to have a lot of excitement about going down to watch this football team.
Nor should there be, right? There shouldn't be.
And then, Travis, what's the other worry is, man, this team gets out of this Big Ten West. This team gets out away from playing against like competition. I wanted them to go play in the Big Ten title game. I think they'd have got their butts kicked next week in the Big Ten title game, but I want them to go play in it. What I don't want to go happen is go play in some stupid December bowl game and you get embarrassed by some crappy university. You're going to play a non-ranked university. Can any team that puts up points, because what are they going to do with Iowa? What kind of bowl matchup are the Hawks going to get? Are the Hawkeyes going to pair Iowa up with another defense? Hell no. Hell no. They're going to put Iowa up against a team that can score points. And if the defense doesn't show up and make plays and get interceptions and return punts for touchdowns and do all the special stuff that you're supposed to just have as icing on the cake, that's the requirement for this team to win because our offense is so bad. Where the hell was Keegan Johnson today?
He got in a couple plays. That was it.
And the guy the ball.
I'm with you.
You don't have playmakers. If you do, you don't know how to make the most of them. You don't know how to utilize them at all.
Yeah, you got a playmaker who is good enough to be in uniform, who's good enough to be on the field, then you better be good enough to get him the football. I don't care how long he's been out. You got to leave it on the field. You're playing for the Big Ten championship game, and you don't leave it on the field?
What'd Caleb Johnson end up with for carries? Do you have the box score in front of you?
I don't have the box score.
I kind of popped into the studio here, so I can probably get logged in and everything, but I don't really want to go through that process because I'm angry. I'm gonna make a trip to Bud and Mary's before sound off starts.
Well, I think even Gary and Ed were talking about smoking a little vape after the game. Boy, I'm going to be in Indianapolis this weekend, and I was hoping to see the Hawks. Now I'm going to end up watching Purdue or Illinois.
Are you going to go to the game? Is your thing?
Yeah, I've got tickets. I'm going.
I didn't know that. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Listen, that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Sure.
And then
it would have been a lot better if I was with my Hawkeye friends.
I will benefit from that, and all the listeners will benefit from that because you'll be back on with us on the morning show on Monday here on KXNO.
That's right. So here's what's going to happen. We are looking at a pretty epic Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off. We're scheduled to start at 8 o'clock tonight. 515-284-1040. That's the number to call. You might as well just get on hold now and sit there. We're going to be on until 11 o'clock.
As a realtor, I'm always really short on giving guarantees. I don't like giving guarantees. I guarantee you tonight's going to be a fantastic show.
As it should be.
Oh, dude,
as it should be.
We're going to take call after call. It's going to be.
We have not had a therapy session in some time. Tonight's not going to be a therapy session. It's going to be a bitch session. It's going to be going to be scorched earth.
Dude, like I just it's the what ifs and the what was lost. And I know it. I'm smart enough to know we're not talking about national title hopes or something, a Rose Bowl or anything like that. A lot was lost tonight. A lot was lost. So Spencer, now we got one game left with Spencer Petras as a quarterback, maybe. Can come back for a super senior year.
God, I hope not.
Probably one game left with Brian Ferentz as your offensive coordinator.
God, I hope so. So here's the deal. We're the Jethro's Barbecue Sound off the final regular season edition coming up in about an hour and 20 minutes on News Radio 1040 WHO. You can also download the iHeartRadio app and listen to Ross and I on the iHeartRadio app. We're on until 11 o'clock. We're going back to work. We'll prepare for the show. Can't wait to hear from you. And so you can just let it all out. And Jason just said, I haven't seen the score. Iowa State just beat North Carolina in men's basketball. So that just makes it a worse day for Hawkeye fans because Iowa State just beat the number one team in the country. And Iowa football couldn't even beat Nebraska. Put that in perspective.
See, I am not one of those Hawkeye fans, dude.
I'm not either, but I'm just saying it happened.
I looked at it as, hey, at least something good happened for the state of Iowa today.
You're talking to the wrong crowd right now. You know that, right?
I know, dude. Right. Listen, I'm just as bad. I just don't have that. I don't understand the hate.
I don't think it's hate. It's just I wanted Iowa to win more than Iowa State.
Listen, when my Cyclone fans, when the Hawkeyes win and my Cyclone fans are like, oh, it ruined my day that the Hawkeyes won. You know what? I want to give them the middle finger, right? I almost did it on the camera. Would our bosses get mad if I did that? I think they'd get mad. All
right, buddy. We'll see you in a little bit. We'll see everybody else in about an hour and 20 minutes on News Radio. Well, you won't see us, but you'll hear us on News Radio 1040